Here are my shrimp. They've been hanging out in some champagne for 24 hours and soaking up all of that flavor. And also, they have some saffron that they're hanging out with. And this is Turkish saffron, about half a teaspoon of Turkish saffron. So that's why we get this kind of yellowy, kind of golden color to our shrimp. So the next step that we're going to do with our shrimp, which incidentally there's about 15 to 20 in here, and you can do more if you have a big party you're having. And we're going to throw it in this pan here on medium heat. Our pears are still hanging out in the back. And these guys are just going to simmer away in our champagne and soak up even more of that champagne flavor. You'll know they're done when they turn pink. To go along with our shrimp appetizer, we're going to be making a fabulous pear sauce that we're going to drizzle over our appetizer. It's going to look really, really cute and pretty and delicious. So we have these pears here. These are two medium-sized pears, and they've been sitting here soaking in champagne for a few hours, 3 or 4 hours, so they're all happy with the champagne. And then we have 2 tablespoons of shallots. We have a teaspoon of garlic, half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of sage, ground sage, and then of course we have 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. So a couple little spices here. Stir that in there. Make sure we get everything out of here. And then that was about maybe 1/4 of a cup of champagne that I used to get these all yummy and delicious. So some of it's in the pears and some of it I just dumped. So this is going to sit on medium heat and reduce, and we'll see what it looks like once it's gotten all cooked and happy. Okay, so now it's time to make the bottom of our shrimp appetizer, which is a Parmesan Asiago Romano cheese cookie, basically. And it's just cheese that we're going to bake in the oven. It's going to be super crispy, and then the shrimp's going to sit on top very neatly. So how I did this is I found a heart that is a cookie cutter, and I traced it around with my pen here, so we have all even hearts on parchment paper. So what we're going to do now, so we don't poison ourselves with pen when we make our little cookies, is we're going to flip it over, and as you can see a little bit of the outline of the heart. And this is going to be good because it'll make each one of our cookies exactly the same. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place your little mix of cheeses, and I have some cheeses that are shredded. And after you fill up all of these hearts, you're going to pop it in the oven, let it cook for a while, and you're going to have crispy, delicious Parmesan hearts. I just pulled our hearts out of the oven and they look fantastic. Look how awesome they look. And that was 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. You want to pop those on so they get nice and crispy. Oh, I love the seafood. I eat it. As you can see, our pears have been hanging out from medium to high heat, and as you go along, you're going to have to add a little bit more liquid in, so reserve that stuff that you cooked your shrimp in because you can put it in this little sauce. And it's actually reduced down from many, many cups of champagne to this. So the next step for our pear mixture, and I know a lot of cooks are going to think this is insane, but we're actually going to add food coloring to it because our sauce is going to be a special addition to our little Valentine's Day shrimp hearts. Alright, so now that that is in there, adding to our coloration, we're going to take that and stick it in our food processor right here. And you're going to want to just stick it on here and get it until it's creamy and smooth. And then as soon as we get done with that, we're going to put it into a little ketchup bottle that we're going to use for our decorating. So all of our pieces to the puzzle have come together. We've got our Parmesan cookie cracker that we have as our base. baked to deliciousness. And then we have our shrimp. And because they ended up being tinier shrimp than I thought, we're going to put 2 shrimp on it, which makes it double the fun. So now we have to add our little glaze with our pears on here. So just want to go in kind of sideways like this. And there you have it. We got champagne shrimp on a Parmesan Romano Asiago cheese cracker with a pear and champagne glaze. Perfect for that. Yeah, très delicious. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Valentine's Day party is a little strange when Valentine's Day is supposed to be about couples and going out with your significant other. But this Valentine's Day party is kind of kicking it old school. Remember back when you were in middle school and you had those cool Valentine's Day parties at school where everyone would make a shoebox and decorate it, and then you would all bring Valentines to put in everyone's shoebox? That's sort of the idea of this party. It's kind of celebrating that cheesy, old kind of feeling about Valentine's Day that just doesn't take itself too seriously. So some ideas for your party are: have your guests dress as characters. Have them come as their favorite character from a romantic comedy. Play some games. Watch a romantic film and make fun of it. Some of the things that I like to do. And some other ideas for party games are: have everyone write down a little story about a really bad date that they went on and put it in a hat, and see who can guess whose story is whose. Something else you can do is that old shoebox thing from middle school and have everybody bring the cheesiest Valentines that they could find in the store. The next appetizer we're going to make is something perfect for Valentine's Day because it involves oysters. Now, as some people may have heard, oysters are what they call an aphrodisiac. If you don't know what that is, look it up online. But anyway, it makes Valentine's Day super awesome. So we have 2 cups of finely chopped oysters that we're going to add in. And then we have some couscous that I cooked. Now this is very special couscous because these oysters that I got from cans and drained, I saved some of that liquid. And I used 2 tablespoons of oyster juice, 2 tablespoons of white wine, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice to cook this couscous, which started out as 2/3 of a cup. So couscous. Alright, for our added flavor, we have 1 tablespoon of chopped dill, fresh dill, 1 tablespoon of garlic. We have 1 tablespoon of basil, fresh basil, chopped, half a teaspoon pepper, half a teaspoon salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne, and a half a teaspoon of lemon zest you see in the corner here. So that is going into our mixture. Here's our next additive. We have about a half a cup of mayo or whipped topping thing that's sort of like mayo. And then we have 1/4 of a cup of minced onions to add to our mix. So for this party, I'm planning on between 20 and 25 people, and I know that mushrooms do shrink in the oven. I know that people just pop them like crazy and love them. So I would recommend between 2 or 3 packages, 16-ounce packages of mushrooms for your party. So these mushrooms, I pulled the caps out and cleaned, and they're all ready to go. And just take a little spoonful of your delicious mixture here and just pop it in there. We're going to fill all these up and get ready to pop them in the oven. As you can see, I've filled all our lovely mushrooms up, put them in a little pan that has been greased with a little bit of vegetable oil or cooking spray, whatever you'd like to use. And now I'm going to take some white wine and just pour a really thin layer of white wine all around the bottom, and they are going to cook in there. We're going to throw them in the oven. So our oyster stuffed mushrooms have come out of the oven and they look fabulous. They're really delicious. They've got lemon, they've got dill, they've got the white wine. Excellent. So now we are going to plate them up and accent them with a little homemade sun-dried tomato aioli, which is basically just a mayonnaise. So we need to do something special with our oysters here. So what I had in mind is a little hugs and kisses. A little bit different than just hearts and flowers everywhere. So I'm going to add one more thing to our plate here. And there you go. Delicious. Sacre bleu! These oysters are making me fall in love with you. Oh.